We're searching for blessing in our business because our hard work alone doesn't make us succeed. It's our hard work coupled with Hashem's bracha that makes us succeed. And for His bracha, we need His partnership. Ki im chokel, says Rabbi Yonah. Hashem must be with you. And the recipe to earn that partnership, we know, is to restrain from Averas. The next Aveira to stay away from at work, to earn Hashem's partnership after Gezel, is sexual promiscuity, arise. And again here, we're not talking about somebody who commits adultery. That, the Gemara says, only the miyut of people do that. But there's a whole host of Aveiras within this category, all of which destroy the partnership with Hashem and remove the opportunity for Him to bless you in your business completely away. The area which I'd like to focus on is shaking a woman's hand in business. In our workplace, I think 50 to 60% of the people in the workplace are women. I remember when I first came back from the Mir and I started in my job, they had a work bra, a work barbecue that everyone was invited to. It was like a great thing. Everyone looked forward to it. A mid-year bra. I'd been at work 3 weeks. I remember going to that bra and I was sitting around the table and there was women at the table and men and everybody talking and music. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like this avreik in this very, very, very foreign world. I had barely looked at another woman besides my wife in 8 years. I didn't know what to do with myself. And my boss very kindly said to me, Rolf, whenever you're ready to leave, leave. I said, thank you very much, and out I went. Over the years, I got more comfortable in those environments, for better or for worse. And we all do, because otherwise you can't manage your life. But because of that comfort, you need protections, and you need fences, because otherwise the risk of stumbling in this area are huge. And before going into the workplace, I learned a few Rav Moshe Feinstein from Igros Moshe, what he says about shaking hands. Now let's be honest. I think in the view of the Poskim, Rabbi Yoshev, Rav Shlomo Zalman, Rav Moshe, most people would say that he was the most makil, most lenient. I know in places when I lived in Eretz Yisrael, Rav Moshe was way too lenient for the view that they would take in life. So I was living in Har Nof, getting ready to go back to South Africa to work, and I learned these Rav Moshe's, and this is what he says about shaking a woman's hand. And in matter of putting out your hand to a woman, like people do when they greet someone when they meet them, Pashut she'asur. It's obvious that it's asur. Af lepnuya, even for an unmarried woman. Sharei hay nidos, because they're permanently in a state of nida. The kol shekain aishes ish, and how much more so to someone else's wife. Pashut said Rav Moshe, no, you cannot. And now that Rav Moshe speaks about it 3 times, here he speaks about the leniency that he's seen in the world, that people do shake hands in business. Ubedavar shero'iso, that in this matter that you've seen, sheyesh mekilim af miyirei Hashem litein yad leisha kashimo shita, that they do put out their hand to shake a woman's hands. Even Yirei Hashem, people who've got Yirei Shamayim, you see them doing it. Ulai soivrim de'ein ze derech chiba v'taiva. Maybe they hold it's not done in a way of affection and desire. It's just derech eretz, and therefore it's not asur. Aval lemaisa, but practically, says Rav Moshe, kasher lismoich al zeh. Very, very difficult to rely on this as a leniency. And so Rav Moshe held it's absolutely asur. Forbidden. So, thankfully for me, for my sake, I went into the workplace only knowing this Rav Moshe. And for me, it was poshet, asur. And I went through many, many uncomfortable moments and experiences, but I had no choice. I could not shake a woman's hand. Rav Moshe said it was asur. Over time, I have seen sources brought of other achronim that say that it could be it's mutter because of this derech chibah thing. But I want to share with you this. The greatest protection you have in your life from not going astray in this area of promiscuity is this Rav Moshe. It's a surah. Just don't do it. Don't go there. Don't look for a heter, because you open that door and it's the beginning of a real risky road for a person to travel. But as soon as you stop physical contact completely, and every woman in the office knows that you do not touch another woman, even to shake their hands, there's a gap that's created physically, which creates a gap emotionally from the woman in the workplace, that they know that they're a little bit wary of you compared to the other men in the workplace, and it's the greatest protection you can do for yourself. So what I'm saying to all of you here, we want Hashem to bless us in our business, and we have to stay away from our virus. The area of sexual promiscuity is a huge temptation. Whether halachically you can shake or not, I can tell you there's very, very strong grounds to say you can't. There could be grounds also to say you can, but I'm saying don't. Just don't. Because that will be the greatest protection to make sure that the environment that you work in is full of Kedusha, is full of a relationship and binding connection to Hashem, which will bring you bracha. Without that, I'm not quite sure how you manage it. And I'd just like to add into that on top of that, you should stay away from any dealing of emotion with the woman or men opposite sex in the workplace. You shouldn't be the address that they come to when they're having a fight with their spouse or their boyfriend, or they're feeling down about life, or fought with their parents. Don't let any form of emotional connection form between you. It's not appropriate. And it's what leads to the physical relationship afterwards. You're allowed to show respect. Engage in business matters totally without limitation, I'd say. But don't step over the line into their emotional world. And the thing which blocks that is this physical touch. Just to shake hands, knowing that you can't do that, means you'll be the last person that they're going to turn to for emotional support, because they can't even get any physical contact from you. They realize that your relationship to men or to women is different. You're odd, and you become the one that they don't want to go to with those things, and that's your greatest protection. I've heard it said that the reason why you should shake their hand if they put their hand out to you is because you don't embarrass them. And embarrassing a person is the worst aveira in the Torah, and you don't get a malbim pnei aveira barabim ein chelek olam haba. You lose your share in olam haba for that. Honestly, it's nonsense. It's just you're not trying hard enough. The embarrassment is yours. You feel embarrassed to behave differently to the rest of the people in the workplace, to be the odd one out, to be so Jewish and so openly different to everyone. You're the one who feels embarrassed, not them. Because there's a very easy way to placate their embarrassment. First of all, if it's a planned meeting, you can have someone call up before to say, just to let you know, when Justin comes to the meeting, he won't be able to shake the woman's hands. And when you arrive there, they're all like on guard. They all know already. There's no embarrassment. They think you're a bit odd, but that's okay. That won't cost me the business deal. On the contrary, keeping this will give me the best opportunity to win that contract, because I'll have Hashem with me in that meeting. That's what I want. The oddness didn't bother me at all. And the other way, if I hadn't pre-prepared, I learned a strategy which I just developed over time. It just worked. Before you come into handshaking distance, because that's when it gets odd, I put my hand on my head, I lifted up my kippah like this and said, I'm sorry, I'm Jewish, and we're not allowed to shake a woman's hands except for our wife. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay, good, thanks for telling me. And then you walk through. Of course, they think I'm weird, I know that. That's the feeling of embarrassment. I don't mind that. I want God. I want Him in this meeting with me, and I'm prepared to bite the bullet of feeling and acting a bit strange to earn that relationship. Only once in my business career did I slip up with this. It was very interesting. I went to a meeting with a colleague of mine. It wasn't even my own meeting. She just asked me to join her to help her because I had some expertise in the field. And when we went to the meeting, they offered us water at the reception while we were waiting. So I was drinking the water, and then this door opened into the reception, and this gentleman and this elderly lady walked out to come and greet us. And I was getting ready to prepare for that uncomfortable moment, and then I realized, oi, my hands are full, because I've got my notebook and pen in this hand, and I've got a water in the other. I don't need any excuses. My hands are full. And it was clear. I said, hi, how you doing? Great. Moved down, sat down into the meeting. I thought, Hashem, you've just taught me the best thing ever. None more of this embarrassment. I'll just go with my hands full to the meeting. We had about a half an hour meeting. And at the end of the meeting, we're leaving. And I remember coming out the office with the boardroom that we were standing in. And I turned left to go back to the reception towards the man and the woman who'd gone out of the room first. And as I turned, I found my hand in the hand of this elderly lady who shook my hand and said, thank you very much for the meeting. Look forward to hearing from you. And I thought, what just went on there? How did that happen? What went wrong? And I went to the car and it was with my colleague, she's a non-Jewish lady, and I said to her, I don't know what happened to me. I've never shook a woman's hand in the meeting. I just don't know what happened. To this day I have regrets over it. I realized what went wrong. What I realized is what happened was I'd never ever had to plan for excusing a handshake at the end of the meeting because I'd always done the hard yards before. And what I thought was this big broch of having my hands full when we approached to meet was actually a problem. Because at the end of the meeting, she caught me totally off guard, unprepared, unaware, not even expecting the handshake. Before I knew it, she'd shaken it. I do still have some regrets to this day about that, but no, you learn, move forward. And now I'm particular to make sure that I expressly say, I'm Jewish. I'm sorry, I can't shake anybody's hand except my wife's. And we move forward. And I go into those meetings with such confidence, knowing I couldn't be in a better position. I'm in this meeting with Hashem. And I need these people to go with me. What better way to convince them than to have Hashem working His magic to allow me to say the right things, touch their heart in the right way, to win over the deal.